Welcome to another episode of Around the 412. I'm Tyler. With me, as always, is Smitty. And...
Not Herb.
Not Herb.
Not Herb.
Although, a frequent of the show, our friend Sarge.
Definitely been on the most so far.
Yeah,
friend of the show.
He mentioned that when we were playing Fortnite the other night. This would be your sixth time.
Yeah, it's my sixth time.
That includes the wing bashes, which
Yeah,
are kind of like separate things because, like, it's not a traditional show. We don't have, like, a list of things to go through necessarily. We just kind of have our friend. Like, Christian came on and talked about the military.
Yeah.
Which still to this day is, like, one of our best segments.
Go Army.
Skaz came on and was, like, hammered drunk talking about... He thought we were trying to say trade Chris Letang, which we weren't. So, like, he's arguing something that we weren't even arguing.
We were arguing the same... we were arguing the same point. He just didn't know it.
He's like, I heard you guys talk about trading Chris Letang. I'm not for it. We were like, yeah, neither are we. But anyway, so yeah, Around the 412, part of the Pod Hub Network. Go to podhubnetwork.com. Check out our show. Check out all the other shows. We put on our first commercial, which shout out to Donardo for that. It was hilarious.
Is it the one on Twitter?
He
that was very funny.
Yeah.
Donardo. The facts are, no matter what picture, Donardo still owns all those clothes.
Yeah, always
no matter what version of him, he still owns them.
I saw him wearing the Nike Air Monarchs in that commercial. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And also, actually, Sarge and I just came from Keats Barbershop. Keats Barbershop.
Let me guess. I want to do it. I want to try it.
Okay.
Okay, 180 Brighton Avenue in Rochester, Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
And the hours are Tuesday through Friday, 10 to 7, and then Saturdays, 9 to 4.
Yeah.
Lit. And then on Tuesdays, it's $5 off for first responders, military, and shoot. What's the last one?
It's nurses.
Nurses.
His hand is a nurse,
Okay.
so yeah, kind of.
Okay.
I feel like she made him throw that in there.
Yeah.
But anyway, like Christian served in the military himself, so that's important for him to do. He actually has like a lot of great ideas. One of them is going on right now. From now until December 20th, if you go to Keats Barbershop and take a donation, whether it be monetary, toys, whatever it might be, for the Children's Hospital, you get $5 off your next haircut, whether it be that day or in the future. So they got that going on right now, Keeks Toy Drive.
I saw some of the toys in Sarge's Snap Story.
He had a lot of toys there. He had like a box full, and then the little shelf was like basically
Yeah, there's a good amount already. And I mean, like I said, it's running until over another month. So get down there and do that. And then we have our thing going on, Rocking Around the 412, which, I know for a fact he really doesn't want me talking about it on here. But I have to mention the fact that Jeff Hartlieb, who everybody knows he's been on here, he's actually going to come on again pretty soon and talk about his first season in the pros, made a very generous donation. And I don't know if I think that we kind of talked about on here how he wanted to be able to cover, multiple families at Christmases. He himself was able to cover one family. So everybody shout out Jeff. You know what? If you're listening to this, just tweet at him and just say, wow. And he's going to have no idea what's going on.
That's it.
Wow.
And he's going to have no idea what's going on. But no, seriously. And then his grandmother made another donation today. So, I can't say enough about him, about his family. The little bit that I do know about them, they all seem like great people. And you can tell a lot about a person just by their actions, obviously. And only meeting him one time for all that he's done for us, it's very special. So I'm happy to have made a friendship, really, through just a podcast. I mean, I was talking to Bly about this too.
Yeah, fuck Bly.
I was talking to Bly about this too. The fact that like I reach out to these guys, and they don't have to say yes, obviously. And it's like even if they do, it's literally just them coming on a podcast, them wearing merch, whatever it might be. But we've turned a lot of these now into friendships that are going to last forever. And I'm just, I'm going on a tangent now. But anyway, Jeff. Yeah, what a guy. He, like I said, he was able to cover an entire family for us for Christmas. And if you guys don't necessarily know the mission, because I'm going on this tangent and I haven't been able to say it, what we're doing this year, as opposed to last year, is giving kids who otherwise wouldn't be receiving, the best Christmas. We understand the circumstances that some families have. It's not easy. I mean, for the most part, we've been pretty fortunate with the holidays that we do have, and like opening gifts on Christmas and giving gifts on Christmas. I think that's like one thing that I've really started to appreciate. A lot of people fall out of love with Christmas as they get older. Like I love Christmas more and more each year. It's just the more that I'm able to give, the more I love Christmas. And as a young kid, obviously opening gifts was the best part. So that's like the mission of what we're trying to do. We're trying to make sure that every kid that we can help is able to have gifts to open on Christmas, because I don't think there should be any kid that's sitting there on Christmas Day wondering where's my gifts, because my friend Timmy got all this new stuff for Christmas. So
Amoroso.
yeah. But anyway, there is no Timmy, by the way. That was just
That might be Tim's first shout out on the podcast.
But anyway, so that's the mission. The pin tweet is on our Twitter. So we did technically reach like the threshold we wanted to already. So all the prizes that we listed are in play. They're all going to be given away. But we still have like a goal that we would like to reach. I mean, you know, we're going to have that up there regardless. It's running until like a couple weeks before Christmas. So if you can share it, if you can donate, every single dollar counts. I was saying, we had a conversation about this. The smallest donation is still going towards a great cause. It's still going to make an impact. It's still going to buy a toy, you know. So whatever you can do, we appreciate it. And I'm going to try to get as many pictures and videos as I can to show these people what exactly they're donating to. So anyway, now that we can talk about sports, I mentioned on the last show that we're going to kind of switch the show up again, like we do. We shuffle it around when sports come to a conclusion and other sports kind of ramp up. And, you know, we're halfway through the NFL season, so that's where we're going to end. Baseball just recently ended, and that's where we're going to start. There's not a whole lot to talk about. So, like, the idea that I came up with, we're just going to give, like, the top free agent predictions. You know, obviously, you have, like, Anthony Rendon, Garrett Cole, Strasburg. But, you know, some guys that, like Ryu might win the Cy Young this year, and his name's not even, like, really being mentioned among, like, the top 5 guys going into free agency. I understand why. You know, he's a little bit older than those guys.
How old is he?
But he's a lefty, too. 33 or so, yeah.
Wow.
Like, you kind of, like, the best time to hit, like, I mean, obviously you want to hit free agency as young as possible so you can hit it again. But, like, most people consider your prime, like, you know, 27, 28. Garrett Cole's 29 right now. That's, like, probably the oldest you would like to be hitting free agency. Obviously, you can't really, like, 6 years, you got to wait until you can hit free agency. So it all depends on when you come up. Juan Soto's going to hit free agency relatively young. But anyways, that's another story.
Baseball's so stupid for that. I don't get it.
Yeah. You got 3 pre-arb years where they can just basically renew your contract, and then you have 3 arbitration years where you can actually go and try to get more money, but still, you know, obviously it still ultimately comes down to an arbitrator.
It's not even like 6 years since you were like drafted. It's 6 years as soon as you hit the big leagues.
Right.
That's so dumb.
Yeah.
To your point too, so I'm on the like the list of free agents.
Mm-hmm.
Hyunjin Ryu is probably going to win a Cy Young, and he's listed number 9.
Yeah, does it say how old he is in that? I think he's like 33 or 34.
33.
Okay.
The southpaw.
Yeah, and that's another thing. He's a lefty, so like
in March.
Lefties typically, they're more valuable. So because they're few and far between really good ones.
But like, why is like Zach Wheeler above him? That's what's weird to me.
Zach Wheeler is actually a weird case because the dude should with the stuff that he has. Is like an upper echelon pitcher in this league, in my opinion. The Mets just haven't gotten it out of him. And what's weird about that is the fact that they've gotten, like, I mean, Noah Syndergaard's been hurt, but you saw what they were able to do with him, like what his peak was. And Jake DeGrom, obviously. So, like, the fact that the Mets haven't really, like, tapped into his potential yet is kind of odd. But I think that's a guy that's going to go somewhere and definitely outpitch his contract. I know that the Yankees were linked to him before. It'd be interesting if they miss out on, like, Garrett Cole, if that could be their top target, pitching-wise.
I don't think they can. They can't miss out on another top pitcher again.
Yeah,
this last year proved to me, because, like, okay, if you don't know, I'm a huge Yankees fan, and that's why the Astros I root against every year now, because I'm sick of them. But I said after they lost this past year, they can't afford to miss out on another ace. Like, CC's obviously retired. They said like German is going to come back soon, but they don't really. You can't rely on Tanaka forever. I mean, that's just what it comes down to. I mean, Paxton has pitched very well this past year. He was a Yankees fan growing up, I think. That's why they said like Garrett Cole, if he does go there, would be like a lifelong dream for him.
Yeah, he was a Yankees fan growing up, but he was also in LA, and I know he went to Angels games, you know, be like his teen years and stuff like that. And those have been the 2 teams I've seen most linked to him. A lot of people think that the Yankees are going to, I mean, I don't know how you can necessarily say it's an overpay, but like, you know, before he pitches for them or seeing what he does after signing like his first and probably only massive contract that he's going to get. But I was reading an article on The Score, which, you know, that's really I don't necessarily use them for news. I just literally look at scores through there because, man, some of the stuff I have seen has just been god awful. But anyway, the one article I was reading was like top 5 predictions, bold predictions, and Garrett Cole getting $300 million from the Yankees was one of them, which that's
absurd.
Has not happened for a pitcher. So, it would be absurd. But like you said, to your point, can the Yankees miss out on another top arm in free agency? I mean, if they feel like they're backed into a corner and they have to in order to get him. But would you rather pay $300 million for Garrett Cole or not even touch $100 million for Zach Wheeler? Like, is there that much of a difference?
I don't know. I mean, Garrett Cole should win the Cy Young this past year. I mean, anyone who can strike out 300 guys in a year and not lose in, 4 or 5 months?
Since May, yeah.
May 15th or something.
The last time, I mean, wins and losses or whatever, but the last time that he lost a baseball game, he took a loss on his record individually, was in May. And at that point, the Nationals were 19-31, the team that ended up winning the World Series.
Wow.
So, yeah, he went a long time before he was on the books for a loss. And, obviously, we talk about wins and losses on here all the time, but still it's like that proves that he keeps his team at least in every game. He's not the guy, he's not going out there and giving up 7 runs and make it so his offense can't come back in the game. So,
like a Pirates game.
Yeah. I mean, Garrett Cole, I think he is the AL Cy Young, and I mean, I think he's going to get the most money, at least out of pitchers. I think he'll outdo Strasburg in free agency by a little bit. But, Rendon's an interesting case. Is Rendon going to get the most money? You saw the Nationals made an offer to Bryce Harper $300 million. To your point about the Yankees not missing out on pitching, I don't think the Nationals can miss out on keeping a star in D.C. It's going to be interesting to see, can they really keep Rendon and Strasburg? Because that's a ton of money.
Well, to your point, too, about Zach Wheeler versus Garrett Cole, I mean, unless it's that significant, it's do you really want to pay someone $200 million more who you see every 5 days? That's, to me, that's why pitchers are so tough to sign, because you just don't know. I mean, even German last year, he was 13-4 at one point. Got hit with domestic violence. He wasn't able to pitch after a year. So
I don't think it's worth shelling out that much money for a top pitcher if you don't have the other pitchers in place. To round out the rotation. I think that for a team like the Yankees, they have decent pitching, and Cole is probably a guy that can put them over the edge. If they add Zach Wheeler, with the offense that they have, they're still going to be a contender.
Yeah.
So, is it, like you said, it's a fine line to say, for $200 million more, do we think that Garrett Cole automatically gets us into the World Series? Because that's what it has to do.
Yeah, I mean, the offense is a big part, and I feel bad just talking about the Yankees, but it's tough last year because Didi did so well in the playoffs, and he's not going to be there probably, and you're going to have to rely on Andujar as basically, because what they're going to do is they're going to move DJ to second base full time, Glabber to shortstop, Urshela at third, and then probably Voit at first. And a lot of people are showing, because they're not bringing back Encarnacion, so they're going to put Andujar as their DH. I don't really like that all that much. So to me, myself, I want Garrett Cole with every fiber of my being, but if they can get Wheeler and then another bat, I think I'd maybe prefer that better.
Yeah.
Because you figure for $300 million, you can get Zach Wheeler and, hell, I mean, you can get another good,
Josh
maybe
Donaldson?
maybe even Jose Abreu maybe.
If you're talking about...
Donaldson too.
Okay, so let's just... we're kind of touching on some of these things, but so let's just actually give our predictions now. I think Anthony Rendon, that's the top guy I have on this list, stays in Washington. As I mentioned, I don't think that they can miss out on keeping a star in D.C. They won the World Series without Harper, so it is obviously not like they made the wrong decision, but they were willing to shell out $300 million for him. Anthony Rendon's a better baseball player than Bryce Harper. And I think Anthony Rendon will get a $300 million contract from the Nationals. I mean, after coming off a World Series win, I don't know. That could mean that maybe even takes a little less. I'm not sure. Maybe he's willing to take less say take a run at keeping Strasburg. I don't know. But
so they're showing on here 7 years, 235.
Wow.
Is what
that would definitely
these
be
are
less
all
than
projections,
I think he
obviously.
can get,
But
I was going to guess 250 range.
And I can't believe you guys don't notice his swing. He bounces a little bit before he swings the bat, and it's hilarious.
Well, once you mentioned it, I watched his next at bat, and I was like, okay, that's what he's talking about. But yeah, I wouldn't have noticed it otherwise. So I'm assuming you agree with him staying in
Oh
Washington.
yeah, I don't see him. Like you said, man, when it came, I mean, did Harper? I know that Harper had like a decent year. It wasn't like a Bryce Harper year. I don't think, was it?
No, I mean he led the lead in driving in runs from runners in scoring position. I think that was really the only thing that he was like elite in. I mean, he was still drawing walks. His on base percentage was still above 400, I think, or close to. But yeah, he's not really like a high batting average guy because teams will still like pitch around him, which I was kind of, I thought going to Philly with having like Real Muto there, and I was expecting more from like Odubel Herrera, obviously. The stuff happened with him.
Yeah. Miguel Franco was good for like a month.
Yeah, Segura, like that was a nice addition, I thought. Obviously, Kutch got hurt, but he was actually having a real good year before he did.
Dickerson played well there.
Yeah. But I don't know. I thought that, I definitely thought that Bryce Harper would have a better first year. It kind of sucks for him signing that huge deal and then being in Philly because you know how quick Philly can turn on you. So he definitely had to like experience some of those things too. I expect next year for him to have like, man, it's hard to even call it a bounce back year because it wasn't like it was a bad year, but like a better year next year. The only other, like I've seen the Phillies linked to Rendon. And that would be, for Washington fans.
What?
I know that they won the World Series.
Dude.
But I really haven't seen too many teams linked to him. And the only other one that I did was like one of those bold prediction articles. And it said Bryce Harper entices his buddy Rendon to come to Philly with him. And I think that the only way that happens is if Strasburg signs first with the Nationals. And it's for too much money they can't even offer Rendon. But that'd be stupid in my opinion. I think Rendon's got to be the guy that they lock up first.
I think so too. I was so confused when Strasburg won the MVP because I thought it was Rendon's or Soto's to lose.
Yeah, it was probably one of the tougher calls for MVP, like World Series MVP that I've seen.
I wanted Zimmerman to get it just because of the story.
Yeah,
but no, I didn't realize. But I think you're right though. Rendon has to be their priority because he's way too good of a player and like overall because he's just as good in the field as he is batting. Mm-hmm. And for a third baseman, that's very very hard to come by. Someone who's exceptional at both. But like I don't see either of them going anywhere. I see them signing both, but like Howie Kendrick's also he's going to go too.
I don't know if he'll be back, but do you think Rendon stays?
Yeah. And I think my guess was around 250, 260 million, something like that.
I mean, I guess the reason it's in 235 is the 7 years, as opposed to these guys that were getting the 10 plus years this year. But how old is he? Does it say in there?
He's
is 29.
Okay.
Oh.
So a 7-year deal takes him to 36 years old. He's probably
he turns 30 in June, so he'll be 29 when the season starts.
Okay. Yeah. He'll be like 36, turning 37, like the first off season.
I don't know if this is a bold prediction, but I think he should win MVP. Over Bellinger.
I remember saying that too. Like, if it's even close in numbers, like Bellinger can have the better numbers across the board, but I think if you take him off the Dodgers, they're still a very good team. I think Rendon pretty much carried the Nationals along with that pitching.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically the same argument I had for why Sid should win the Hart last year.
Yeah. If you take him out of that lineup, they literally have to win every game with pitching, in my opinion.
Well, and like for example, like Kutch, he won. I mean, he had an incredible year when he won MVP, but he won it because he elevated his team, and because of him, the team made the playoffs. They didn't have the run the Nationals did, obviously. Mm-hmm. But I mean, look at the team. If you do a parallel thing with how he was playing versus how they were playing as a team, he, like you said, that he carried them. Yeah. And that makes me mad. They don't take that kind of stuff into consideration a lot of times. But I think he should absolutely win the MVP.
If you're gonna give it to the best player, you got to change the name of the award.
Yep.
Because I understand that maybe it should be an award, but if you're calling it most valuable player, then that doesn't mean that they had just the best stats across the board.
Yeah, because you're not as valuable as you're you. I mean, even if you take Yelich off the Brewers, they're not as good, like probably anywhere near. So to me, it's like it should be between Yelich and Rendon. Mm-hmm. That's why I kind of I always have
doing as Yelich is the shortened season too. So
I always have an issue, and I shouldn't, but when guys like Altuve and Bellinger are always up. I mean, I know Altuve isn't this year, but players who are incredible on an incredible team, to me, it's hard to justify giving them the award.
Yeah, because they have a lot more lineup protection. I mean, you look at the Astros lineup, you look at the Yankees, like teams like that, 1 through 8, they're better than anybody else.
Yep.
This is literally the same argument why I had for why Kucherov shouldn't have won the Hart last year.
I agree with you.
Because on Tampa Bay, if you take him off, how much worse are they? But if you took Sid off the Pens last year, they don't make playoffs by a large stretch.
Okay, so Anthony Rendon stays in D.C. according to all of us. Garrett Cole, this is it's hard to say the team he's currently with isn't in the mix, but I don't really think that they are. I think it's either New York or L.A. It could be even the Dodgers as a third option in my opinion. But I'm going to go ahead and say the Angels.
That's where I was going to... My heart is telling me the Yankees, 'cause I want him to go there. But I think the Angels are in a spot where they kind of realize they need to start building around Mike Trout.
Yeah.
Because if they don't, he's going to be completely wasted. And I feel like that he would be such a good... Because Ohtani can pitch again next year.
Yeah.
I don't know if he will as much, but he can.
I think there will be a limit on his innings, but yeah, that's definitely a huge boost for them. I mean, they kind of... I don't want to say he fell into their lap, but he could have signed with anybody, and you're not paying him a lot. So, I mean, that finally gave the Angels a solid piece to add to Mike Trout without having to spend big in free agency. I think bringing back Justin Upton was a good deal. I think that Andrelton Simmons is obviously very good with at least his glove. He was actually better offensively last year than most seasons that he's had. But yeah, they finally need to. All these guys I'm saying aren't pitchers. They never really add pitchers. They keep trying to dumpster dive for guys like Matt Harvey in free agency, like a reclamation project, and it hasn't worked. I think that they finally shell out big dollars to add to Mike Trout.
I wonder if they can afford Garrett Cole, though, because I don't know how much, obviously, their pay... I mean, I know there's not a thing about, their luxury tax. I wonder where that is, because they just shelled out all that money to Trout last year. And like you said, Upton just re-signed. To me, it's if they don't sign... They're going to either get Cole, Wheeler, or Ryu, I think. That's what because they need at least one. I think they need a lefty, because... I mean, can you name a lefty pitcher for them? I can't name a pitcher for them.
Yeah. I mean, they had a lefty, kind of unfortunately.
Yeah.
He's no longer there. I don't even know what their pitching staff looks like going into next year. I know it's not pretty.
Yeah.
Andrew Heaney.
Yeah.
Is
he's a lefty? Yeah.
Jamie Barria. I'm looking at their payroll right now.
It's sad that you have the best player in the world and you can't even name his starting rotation on his team.
Yeah.
Starting rotation, I can't name a starting 9.
Yeah, I think I know 4.
Okay, where do you think Garrett Cole goes?
Oh, Angels. Okay. I think they finally try to give Trout a team. Is Ohtani going to pitch when he comes back?
Yeah.
Is he?
He's going to pitch in 2020. But that's what we were talking about. I think that there's going to be an innings limit. I don't think he pitches too much. And it's going to be interesting to see if they are in the playoff mix, how that goes down the stretch.
Yeah, because I mean, you even might see him make a push next trade deadline if they're doing well.
Yeah.
Is he allowed to bat if he's the pitcher?
Not in the same game.
No.
You can't be So it's the same thing.
So you can't forfeit the DH.
No.
That is so dumb.
Yeah, you can't. If he gets, say you pull him in the 6th, you cannot re-enter the game.
No, I mean while he's pitching.
Oh. No, because that's why the AL has a designated DH, because you can't.
That is so stupid.
Oh, yeah, I mean, Brendan McKay, I mean, he's not anywhere near as good of a pitcher as Ohtani is, or a batter, but, I mean, that's...
I just feel like if you have the pitcher that can bat, and, you want to forfeit your DH spot to bat your pitcher, then why shouldn't you be able to? That's so stupid.
I know. I don't know. That's weird. But yeah, I know because Ohtani hit pretty well last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, no one would use it except for that in that case.
Luckily, the Pirates have Steven Brault.
I was saying if Brault's pitching, you might as well use it on him.
Can he play left field? Right field?
Okay, so I feel like we might finally kind of not be in agreement across the board here. Steven Strasburg.
I've already said he's staying.
What do you think?
I don't know. Part of me thinks that he'll stay. I I want to say that like Rendon and Strasburg will like make it work where they will take like maybe less money to both be on the team, but at the same time, like if this is going to be his last payout, then
What did Herb say?
So it's showing that we're live, but I don't have the chat.
Hi,
Which
chat.
is interesting. No, like it's not showing the chat.
Oh, whatever.
It's interesting. Because Herb just texted me and said, read the chat.
What do you say?
I'll try to pay attention to it now. But, okay, so I missed the end of that. Ultimately, what are you saying about Strasburg?
I'm going to pick wild card. I'm going to pick the Twins.
Okay, I actually have them for another pitcher. I'm going to say the Padres. And the reason being, kind of talking about, we talked about the Angels, you know, how they've spent money, but none of it being on pitching. I think the Padres are kind of in that same spot. We've seen them now 2 free agencies in a row shell out big money, not to pitching. And they
Who
have
else
some
did they
young
get?
pitching. Huh?
Who else did they get besides Machado?
The year
No, I'm saying
before
the
they
year
had
before Hosmer.
Hosmer.
Which I'm not saying was a good deal, but they shelled out the money for 2 straight seasons.
No, it's trash. 8
Um,
years, $144 million for Eric Hosmer. Are you kidding me?
so
Whoa, I didn't know that.
I think the Padres, and they just hired Rothschild, who the Yankees' ex-pitching coach. I think that they're going to add a big name, and I think it's Steven Strasburg. I kind of went back and forth here with Wheeler. Foreshadowing, I already said where I think Wheeler's going, ultimately based off Cole signing with the Angels. But, yeah, I don't know. I think it's time for the Padres to spend big money on pitching based off what they've done.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Try to compete in that division.
Another pitcher, Madison Bumgarner. And this is...
Is
he's
this your
gonna
one
pitch
going to the
somewhere-
Twins?
No.
No.
I'm saying Phillies. Yep. I don't have any. No, because I think the Phillies kind of realized last year too, to a lesser extent, what the Yankees went through, where their starting pitching didn't hold up. Like their lineup, the Phillies, their opening day lineup, they should. I mean, people were confused why they didn't even win the division last year. I mean, you spent all that money on the free agents, and the same thing. They need pitching, and I think that although Mad Bum isn't anywhere near what he used to be, he's a veteran guy, and the younger guys
Lefty.
there, yeah. That's where I'm picking Phillies.
I'm staying in the division. I'm saying the Braves. The Braves lost or are losing Dallas Keuchel, the lefty that's in that rotation, and I think they're going to add a veteran presence. I was just reading an article how they plan to. That's like the first free agent they're going to talk to. They're pretty much they're going to talk to him before even like trying to re-sign Donaldson. So he's like
Really?
their priority.
Mad Bum?
Yeah. So I really don't have any other reason besides that, and the fact that I haven't seen too many teams linked to him. Other than I have seen the Twins.
Buccos.
The Twins are definitely going to sign a pitcher now. The Phillies also do kind of make sense. They haven't gotten what they expected from Jake Arrieta.
Shocker.
That's crazy to me.
That's because he stopped using steroids.
I said the same. I legit said the same exact thing. I remember saying it to Smitty. I said he's on roids. You don't go from just being a no one to this lights out pitcher and then to no one again. It doesn't make it unless the Cubs had the best pitching coach of all time. That doesn't happen.
We all saw that body issue.
Yep. It's weird.
Okay, so what do you think for Bumgarner?
I'm going to stay in the division as well, and I think whenever the Nationals lose out on Strasburg, they're going to sign Bumgarner.
Yeah. Imagine trying to just. Yeah, we lost Strasburg, but we got Bumgarner who's 60 years old.
I mean, it makes.
I mean, you got to replace him with someone.
I know.
It makes sense. I could see, and you can make the same argument for the Astros losing Garrett Cole. But I think that the contingency plan there was getting Greinke at the deadline. Knowing that they're probably going to lose Garrett Cole in free agency, so now we at least still have that two-headed monster that we did. I mean, Zach Greinke at this point in his career isn't Garrett Cole.
How long are him and Verlander there for? I don't know their contracts. I thought that Greinke signed like a longer contract with Arizona.
With Arizona, when he signed with Arizona, it was 7 years. I'm pretty sure.
He needs to grow his hair back. He wasn't as good.
Yeah, he looks like a donkey.
We snob.
Donkey teeth.
Let's see. Verlander.
I mean, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. The Astros...
Verlander will be a free agent in 2022.
Okay.
Oh.
So he has this upcoming year and the year after that.
Wow.
He will be 39 in 2022. And then
So at
Greinke,
that point, if he wants to keep pitching, it's probably like a 1 or 2 year deal with the Astros.
It's not good. Just hang it up at that point, man.
Greinke also has 2 years.
Okay. And that kind of, I feel like, lines up with when they're going to have to pay, like Bregman's under contract, but they don't have Correa under any long-term deal.
What about
I
Springer?
mean,
I thought he was there for decent. What about like Altuve? Like that's the thing. I don't know their entire lineup. Did Brantley sign a 2-year deal or a 1-year deal there?
he's not a free agent again. 2 years. Yeah.
Okay. Smart.
It's smart they didn't use or that they didn't give him an option, because he'd be getting way more money
Yeah.
this offseason than he did last offseason.
I thought it was cool that like people in Cleveland still like cheered for him.
It says Springer will be a free agent next year.
Cool.
So yeah, that's what I mean. So like the next couple offseasons, they're gonna have to pay money.
Brett Gardner's retiring next year.
It's lining up. Okay, so Yasmani Randall. I already didn't say on here, but I have my idea of where he's going, and I hate it.
The Reds.
The Reds. Yeah, I think he's coming to the NL Central. Well, back to the NL Central. Still in the NL Central, I should say. But with a team that I hate much more than the Brewers. He actually was with the Reds organization. I don't know what deal he was part of or anything like that, but I know he was originally with the Reds in the minors. Yeah, I hate it. You know, we talked about JT Realmuto being the best catcher in baseball, but I think Rendall is like kind of right there as like a top 5 catcher still. Both sides of the ball, he's valuable. And the Reds are going to shell out money to that position. It definitely seems like there's not a better catcher on the market, and it makes a ton of sense, and I hate it.
I was going to say Reds too, and I have no other reason because I looked up something and they said Reds, so I'm saying Reds.
I'm saying he resigns just to be different.
With the Brewers?
Yep.
I
probably
think that
gonna
would be
sound
the only.
stupid, but
That would be the only other option. I think he'll be a priority for them over Moustakas, because catcher is such a valuable position if you have a good one.
see,
They're in
he's
rare
good at
company.
pitch framing too, right? That's like one of his things.
Yeah, he's very good defensively, and he can also hit, which is hard to come by at the catcher position.
It's weird
being
too.
Pirate fans, we know that.
It's weird too because like catchers used to be like a 30+ home run guys, and now it's just like they don't care if they're offensive.
I think that's because, you know, this new like analytical side where they're teaching them, you know, your value is going to be defensively. That's how you're going to make the team better.
Yeah.
And whatever you can give the team offensively. So, I mean, you have the anomalies like JT Realmuto and Yasmani Grandal, Wilson
Gary
Contreras.
Sanchez sometimes.
Yeah.
Francisco Cervelli for a little bit.
A healthy Cervelli. Yeah.
Still, the best gif of last year was when the Phillies were bringing in someone. They showed Real
Jared
Madrid.
Hughes.
Was it Jerry?
Yeah.
He just looked so annoyed.
Okay, Marcelo Zuna.
Trying to think.
I'm going to say he stays with the Cardinals.
I was trying to think of the Braves outfield besides Acuna and
Herb might be right here. He said, was Grandal part of the Matt Latos trade? I mean, that would make sense because he went to San Diego.
who's I know it's Markakis, Acuna, and who's the third Braves outfielder?
Well, they had that Austin Riley out there for a little bit. I know that he missed most of the year, but who was the dude that came from the Diamondbacks?
Was it Caleb?
Ender
Cousins?
Inciarte
Oh, no.
was hurt a lot last year.
I'm saying Braves. I think because they need to get their offense going a little bit.
No, Herb just texted me, ended, and then Ender.
Oh. I think the Braves are right there where I think they're going to start spending money.
The only other team that I've seen linked to Osuna wasn't the Braves, but I mean, it does make sense. I mean, Markakis even really shouldn't be back there. I don't know why they signed him to another one-year deal, but that probably just speaks to their lack of outfield depth as the Giants for Marcelo Osuna. But I don't know. They're not in a position to be I don't know what the Giants do. They constantly, like, I would probably be more frustrated being a Giants fan right now than the Pirates, because like when they went into an offseason and decided to get Kutch and Longoria, two past their prime former stars, and tried to still say that they were competing.
Yeah, and they got Sandoval back.
Yeah, like
for some reason.
I don't know what they're trying to do. They're trying to be like the best team in 2010.
Was next year is an even year, so who knows?
Listen,
Yeah.
we got through 16 and 18 without them winning, so that's gone.
Yeah, so that's my prediction. I'm saying Braves.
I think he stays with the Birds.
Okay, Ryu. This is where I'm saying Twins. Because I was giving them a pitcher. I think that I'm not sure that Jake Odorizzi comes back. We'll see how much he wants if he tries to cash in on his best season. But once again, we talked about the value of lefties. They need one. I think that it fits the Twins' mold. The fact that you might have to shell out a decent amount per year, but it's going to be a shorter contract due to his age. So I think he'll get like 2 or 3 years, and maybe you're paying him close to $20 million a year. And I think that's the Twins are willing to do contracts like that. They don't like the long length, but per year they're willing to shell out some money.
I mean, are the Dodgers not going to pay him?
I'm not sure. I mean,
That's what I was gonna say.
I think that they're still.
I mean, I don't think they're going to get Cole, so I would say he stays in LA.
That's all I was gonna say. The Dodgers I think that what's gonna happen is they're gonna try a little bit for Cole. I don't think he's gonna go there, and I think that they're gonna realize, oh shit, we need pitching, and I think they're gonna re-sign Ryu for
And that's,
free.
I mean, yeah, that's a team that's constantly, has championship aspirations, so they shouldn't really be worried about the years. They got to try to win now. They got to shake this.
Kershaw's
team that can't
not going to be where he is forever, man. Like, I think the playoff Kershaw thing is an actual thing. And last year he took a step back. I think they were in win now mode.
They have to be. Yeah, and it just sucks because, I mean, Clayton Kershaw's a Hall of Famer, but he still is going to have this, what's the word I'm looking for here? Not an asterisk, but like reputation.
Yeah.
For his playoff fails. And, I mean, not that winning a World Series would completely do away with that, depending on how he pitches. But having a ring, would obviously alleviate some of that, I feel like.
Yeah. I think that's with anyone. I was actually talking to them on PS4. I said, I feel like baseball is one of the sports that you kind of they're like rings matter the least. But at the same time, it's like they can also, separate you from first ballot, second ballot.
Yeah. Just don't do steroids.
Yeah.
Okay, Josh Donaldson.
Third base. Tatis Jr. is a shortstop, correct?
Yeah, they have Machado there, though, too.
Oh, yeah.
Texas
I forgot
Rangers.
that happened.
That's the team I've seen most linked. I don't know why.
Wow, Adrian Beltre, RP.
I don't know why
Yeah, I know.
either. That's,
I'm just
that's
kidding.
why I'm saying.
Yeah. I could see the Braves wanting to keep him, even if they do Madison Bumgarner. I don't think he's going to... I mean, we'll see. I don't think he's going to break the bank there by any means. I think the Braves still have enough money to bring back Donaldson as well. I think he did help himself. He signed that 1 year, $23 million deal to try to, get a longer-term contract. I still think he only gets, 2 or 3 years, and I still think that the Braves can do it, and I'm going to say he stays with the Braves. I think they like him enough.
Yankees.
Because the conversation we had out here.
Well, because here's my thing.
Man, imagine what he would look like.
He looked terrible.
As a Yankee.
Actually, no, I take it back. He's not going to he's not going I don't think he's going to be willing to do that. I'm trying to think of other teams. The Braves would make a lot of sense, actually.
The Braves, even staying in the division, the Phillies, because Michael Franco was pretty bad,
Yeah.
they might be looking to upgrade there. If they're obviously, which I don't see them, the Nationals not bringing back Rendon, but I think that the Phillies could be in the market for an upgrade at third base.
I've seen Rangers, so I'll stick with the Rangers.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know who else I saw mentioned with them.
On
That
here,
has-
it's Rangers. Because I don't think that Gio Urshela is going to be as good next year as he was this year.
Yeah.
And it's going to be weird seeing Andujar, how he plays. I mean, he was hurt all last year. But third base to me is kind of like, and especially in New York, it's kind of like a just toss-up. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I think they need to trade Stanton. That's another take, though.
He said he wants Cole and Strasburg.
Dude, I was like, okay, do you realize how much money that's going to cost? That I mean, like I said,
Yeah.
no salary cap, but I was telling you, like, the Red Sox have spent over $60 million in luxury taxes the past 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like I understand these people are rich, but that's a lot of money. Plus, I mean, I don't really know what the rotation would look like because you would have Cole, Strasburg, Sevy, Tanaka, and Paxton. I don't know where. Jesus.
A Yankees fan complaining about money. You love to see it.
I'm just saying, I don't think you can afford it. It's you don't want to. You don't. And then the thing is,
That's the opposite of.
His name's Brian
fans
Cashman, not Brokeman.
Boo.
Okay.
What did he say?
Herb?
Yeah.
He said no one can financially take that Stanton deal besides the Yankees. Yeah, I mean, they'd probably have to eat a lot of that. That's why, like, people gave Jeter so much crap for the Stanton deal.
Yeah, no,
I don't
smart.
think it was bad. They kept no dollars on that deal. They didn't get a great prospect return, but that deal was completely off the Marlins books, which would have screwed them.
I understand that no one, and I agree with you, Herb. No one's going to want to take on that contract.
Yeah.
But man, was he bad in the playoffs last year. Like
so was Gary Sanchez.
Yep, both of them. And I think Gary is more likely to bounce back than Stanton is, because Stanton is all he is offense. They tried throwing him in defense last year. He was slow as molasses trying to run after a ball. His arm is still a cannon, but you can't. What are you gonna, like? That's the thing. Like, they're going to keep. The Yankees are in a problem right now because they're going to keep trying to just work with what they have offensively, because they signed Hicks for 7 years for some god reason. They keep signing Brett Gardner back for some reason.
1 year deal.
Yeah, and Aaron Judge is Aaron Judge. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I think how
is Clint Frazier not one of their top 3 options?
I don't know. Why? I'd rather him play every day than Brett Gardner.
Yeah.
Last year. I was shit talking Brett Gardner for like a half hour to Beefy. I hate him.
Okay, so speak to the Yankees. That's where Zach Wheeler's going. My predictions.
I agree. I didn't think so before we started talking about this, but
they wanted to trade for him. The Mets just don't trade with the Yankees. I mean,
I know.
Like, they were like, Syndergaard? No. Okay, how about Zach Wheeler? No.
How about anyone? No.
We'll give you Aaron Judge for nobody. No. We don't make trades with you guys.
Do you agree with us?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I've said anyone to the Yankees so far. So they have to get someone.
I think he's, like, that's the thing is, I think he's going to go, I mean, he's not the first domino. It's a domino effect, obviously, for these guys. Because of Garrett Cole going to LA, I could see, like, 2 things happening. Either he goes to the Yankees because they wanted Garrett Cole. Another team I've seen could be the Astros. I mean,
Zach Wheeler?
Yeah. Or you look at if Strasburg, I mean, obviously, you think he stayed with the Nationals, but if Strasburg goes there to the Nationals,
don't put it into existence.
What?
Him going to the Astros. I'm not.
Oh no. Yeah, well, I'm going to say, like, I think that's a possibility. I also think that the Nationals could be a possibility if Steven Strasburg doesn't resign there.
I'm not going to be living in a world where Steven Strasburg is an Astro. Well, I'll be here, but I'm not going to be happy.
But ultimately, I'm going to say the Yankees. I know that for a fact that they like him. There was even, speculation that they would have rather traded for him than Syndergaard. I think a lot of that was probably due to they wouldn't have to give up as much a pending UFA. But I think that had they would traded for him, they would have given him an extension.
Yeah.
So I think that now they didn't have to give up anything to get him, and now they're going to sign him in free agency.
I was really hoping they would have got Thor last year. I know he's not as good. I just really like him a lot. He's funny on Twitter. He's part of the Ban the Wave movement.
I mean, at his worst, he's still like your team's second best pitcher. Like, yeah. It's just we kept expecting him to, like, he's always been since his first full season on people's like Cy Young radar.
Yeah.
And it's just, due to mainly health, and the Mets pitchers in health are probably the worst duo of all time.
It's also funny that for Josh Donaldson, that literally one thing going into him signing there is the fact that he has to shave his head.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's like, remember, who was that closer, Brian Wilson?
Mm-hmm.
The Yankees wanted him, and he said, "Do I have to shave my beard?" And they said, "Yeah," and he was like, "No." I think it's so funny.
Okay, and then the last one, Nick Castellanos.
I think he re-signs with the Cubs.
See, the Cubs are kind of in a weird position, though, where they're talking about moving some money out.
Really?
Wilson Contreras has been rumored to be traded, which would be tougher. I mean, we're talking about how
who do you
premium
have
of
at
position
catcher,
catcher is. Who's the guy?
Their
Picture him
manager
right,
comes out of
I just
retirement.
picture him right now. He wears number Caratini.
I have no idea, man.
Is that right? He wears number 7 for them. Anyway, he was actually held in a pretty high regard coming up too, but they had been using him pretty much like a backup catcher. He played some first base, but he would obviously be their new primary catcher if they trade Contreras. I mean, I think it's just going to be one of those things that they explore but don't ultimately do. If they're trading somebody, I personally think it's Chris Bryant.
That's
To the
weird.
Pirates.
Hey, he likes the jerseys. I think it's weird too, because like Chris Bryant was like up there for a couple years in a row as like best player.
Yeah, I mean, it's just for a baseball player, and especially him, to have a bad throwing shoulder. I mean, he just hasn't been the same player since he hurt that. So, and it's not like he's once again a bad player. But if you're making the decision between him and Javi right now, with what Javi's done the last couple of years, it's probably gonna be Javi. And I don't know if I necessarily. It's hard to say whether I agree or disagree with it. It's just because a healthy Chris Bryant is one of the top players in baseball.
Yeah.
But
I think he's gonna end up playing DH somewhere though. I mean, because like I said, if you hurt your throwing shoulder, that shit lingers.
yeah.
And, I mean, he's too good offensively to just not be on a team.
I think he needs just to rehab it. Like, regardless of what that, I mean, I'm not saying that he's not, but like, obviously a full off season, even if he can't start the year. I mean, however long you feel like you got to sit out to get that thing 100%, because once you are 100%, you're one of the better players in baseball.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I personally don't think the Cubs should trade. I don't know what their philosophy is on this, though. I don't know if they feel like they have to, or if it's just like once again, they're going to kick the tires on it, listen, because maybe they can get a return they can't pass up. But they even said last year that they were broke. They couldn't afford to, when people were clamoring for them to get like Keuchel and Kimbrel, but they ended up getting Kimbrel, which, I don't know about that deal. But I don't know. They do really like Castellanos. He was very good there once he got traded there.
Yep, I like him a lot too. Sucks, because I can't root for him if he's a Cub.
So, we were kind of talking about it before, and this is kind of like once again, a domino type thing. If the Red Sox trade JD Martinez, which I'm kind of expecting, if they prefer to trade him than Betts, which obviously I would do, I would trade Martinez before Betts. A common team that's been linked to that is the White Sox. But with that, kind of just being like a complete dart throw, whether that's going to happen, I'm going to say the White Sox for Nick Castellanos.
That's who is linked to him.
I'll say the same thing. That's
Wow.
what I saw. I would literally just be saying another team to say a different team. I literally know nothing about him. So
What about Jose Abreu?
I think he stays with the White Sox on like a 1 or 2 year deal. He's the leader for a lot of those that's a very young team, and he's a good presence to have there. At this point in his career, he's not that great of a player anymore. He's still okay. He drives and runs. He's going to be like 33 years old next year, though. I think it's a short-term contract, and it's mainly to keep the clubhouse intact.
One thing you need to watch next year is they are the best walk-off team in baseball. They have this one player, don't know who he is, but whenever they hit a walk-off, he runs out of the clubhouse, pours Gatorade on himself, then runs to meet the guy at home plate. It's hilarious. Did you guys talk about Girardi with the Phillies yet?
last
show.
Okay.
Because there's only the Pirates and Giants.
It's 31-19.
Pirates and Giants both need new GMs, and I think that's also the only 2 managerial openings. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry
So.
for that. Maybe he'll have something to say about signing players too. I don't know how much say he has, but
I'm not sure. We were talking. How do you feel about Joe Girardi managing the Phillies?
I
Being that he managed the Yankees.
I think he's a good coach. I think that he's
Do you think that he's still able to manage with the way that baseball has changed?
no,
That's the question.
not as well.
Because the names being linked there were him, Buck Showalter, and Dusty Baker. So I think they definitely made the right call between those 3 names.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't know that any of them are that inclined enough to manage in today's analytical age.
I think the team will carry him because the team's very talented, but
It's just polar opposite
Yeah,
though, going
yeah,
from Gabe Kapler to Joe Girardi. Like,
I mean, I will always like Joe Girardi because he brought a ship here. Well, not here, but in New York.
yeah,
So I always like him. I was mad when they first got rid of him, but I've loved Aaron Boone so far. Like, whenever you have a manager
I like Aaron Boone a lot.
who's telling a umpire, our guys are fucking savages in that box, you want to talk about a confidence boost for a club? That is insane.
Well, yeah, when you have a team like the Yankees, the X's and O's, are, obviously it's a football term, but the on-field managing isn't really going to play much into that. I think a lot of, obviously, like bullpen decisions, stuff like that, but a lot of his job is really just keeping the clubhouse intact, backing his guys, as you mentioned, and finding the right balance between being a coach but also like a friend to these guys.
Yep.
And I think that Aaron Boone has done a very good job there.
I love him.
Which I was kind of skeptical on, to be honest with you, when he first got hired.
I was too. Like, whenever, because I remember I got the alert on my phone, and I was like, really? The announcer guy?
Yeah.
And then, because I knew, obviously, because of the home run, like, everyone knows who Aaron Boone is. Mm-hmm. And I didn't think it was a good idea at first. Because, I mean, that's the thing, too, is I was so emotionally tied to Joe Girardi. Because, he started coaching the Yankees right when I started, like, really getting into baseball.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this is going to kind of suck. But then, no, I've loved it so far.
I think anytime when your team hires a former player, the initial thought is they just hired this guy because he used to play for the organization. Like, what are his actual credentials? Why is he the manager? And I think that a lot of people probably look at the Cubs situation right now with that, the David Ross hire, which, I mean, once again, it might be to my fault. We could be talking about how bad I look here for saying this. I don't like that hire for them. So it was just a couple years ago he won a championship with that team. And most of those guys are still on that team. Like, how are you going to find the right balance?
It's weird. Like you said, man, it's weird to hire someone who's playing the league 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I know it's at least Aaron Boone had a few years to do some announcing and get at least a little bit involved with the game of baseball still. Who the hell knows what they were also doing? Just being involved somewhere.
Okay, so switching it up, talking about hockey a little bit. Really not a whole lot to talk about non-Pens wise. I mean, it looks like the Jets and Dustin Bufflin are heading towards arbitration, which we were trying to talk about in the last episode, how weird that situation was for him getting surgery for a high ankle sprain, how many months after he had the injury. And the Jets really saying, are we even sure that this is like a hockey-related injury? Did this happen while he was still with our team? Because he's been away from the team, so contemplate retirement, whatever might be going on. It's a weird decision, but for to go to arbitration, what are the facts from each side? Like, how are you going to prove when this injury happened? The Jets are probably going to come back with, okay, why didn't he have surgery sooner than this?
Yeah, that was my point last week. It's like if you had to get surgery, why 5 months after the fact or 6 months after the fact? It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Do you have anything on this?
So I'd probably be on the Jets.
Do you know about the situation?
Yeah, I know about it. I just don't. I mean, well, don't players play through injuries in the playoffs though? And
right, but they got knocked out in the first round. So he hasn't played hockey since April, and he had the surgery in the end of October. And it's a high ankle sprain. So that's the. I mean, we were trying to talk about how it's worse.
It's weird to have a high ankle sprain surgery.
Yeah, I heard you saying last week about your ankle before.
Yeah, I had a high ankle sprain.
It's better to break your ankle. They do the surgery, they fix it.
He should have just broken himself.
Yeah.
Just snap it. I think it's weird that when teams just don't believe players on injuries, though.
And we related it to what's going on with the Jets right now. They ended up releasing him, but Kelechi Osemele, their offensive lineman, who got 3 opinions before having surgery, and the Jets just weren't believing that he was hurt.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. And now they have a second. We'll talk about this more. I'll just bring it up now because it's just real quick. Their quarterback that was 1 week, that Luke Falk that was there, started on Monday Night Football for them. He filed an injury grievance against the Jets because they were trying to say I guess he wasn't hurt or not to the extent that he was saying. And
wow.
Yeah.
We all saw his ankle.
Yeah.
Although I immediately thought he broke his ankle whenever that happened. Mm-hmm. And whenever I saw him walking off the field on his own, after that, I was like, this is a psycho.
Yeah.
From the video, it looked like his ankle just snapped. And he's just walking into the locker room unassisted and was like, you are a psychopath.
Okay, but anyways, speaking of injuries, Letang is week to week, which, I mean, you have...
And was Hornquist on IR yet?
Yeah, they put him on IR.
No, when
when
we
we
had
last
our
talked,
last show.
No, he did. He got put on IR 2
No,
days ago.
because Saturday was the only healthy day that they had.
Yeah.
And then the next day he was on IR.
Mm-hmm. So...
That was their first healthy game that with no one on the injury report, it was like 94 games.
They played a total of 2 periods this year with, like, the roster the way that they wanted it to be.
Yeah.
But the emergence of John Marino has, I'm not, like, you're not replacing Chris Letang, but has, I guess, lightened the burden a little bit.
I like him a lot.
I love him.
Yeah, he's...
Dan Marino.
Best Marino in Pittsburgh history.
Wait, who tweeted that? Someone said John Marino greater than Dan Marino. Which one?
It was me, because you quoted and said you were about to.
Oh, yeah. That was so funny.
I wasn't expecting... Like, I had actually pretty decent hopes that John Marino would crack the top 6 at some point. But for him to crack the top 6, play the way that he was, and then get put into a top 2 role now... I mean, it's for a guy that we traded a 6th-round pick in the 2021 draft for.
Who we get him from?
Edmonton.
They love giving us defensemen. Right-handed defensemen for nothing. But, yeah, so Chris Letang's week to week, which I'm not going to say was a surprise, but based off the wording that Sullivan had originally used, and you can take everything that he says with a grain of salt anyway, but he said, like, Saturday wasn't looking good or something like that. But that still tells me it was, like, day to day, not week to week. And then now he's week to week.
It just sucks because all it does is fuel everyone who says, like, Trey Letang
they
is
can
never
win without
healthy.
him.
Yeah, it doesn't help.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the same thing whenever the Pens won 5 in a row whenever Gino is out. It's like people they don't need him. It's like, yeah, they do.
Let me ask you guys' opinion. How do you think Galchenyuk has played so far?
I've actually, he's not, like, he's here to score goals, and he hasn't done that yet. Like, with his shot, he needs to shoot the puck more. I feel like we're talking about, like, a left-handed version of Kessel.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm pleasantly surprised with his passing. He's a better playmaker than I was expecting, at least thus far. I am growing frustrated, like I said, with the fact that he just doesn't seem to want to shoot the puck. And I don't know if, he's still, like, shaking off rust from missing time or whatever, but, I mean...
That spider bite.
I by no means dislike him as a player, but it's tough that, we mentioned they haven't been fully healthy, that when they were fully healthy, I had to watch a guy like Dominic Cahoon scratched.
Yeah.
When, he had been playing the way that he was for Galchenyuk just because, potential in his name.
Okay, because I was watching... Because, like, what I do when I watch Pens games, I watch, like, one guy a shift. So I can kind of see, like, how he's playing on that shift. He had a very good, like, almost breakaway goal.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he didn't...
I think he tried to do too much with it. Because I don't even know if he actually ended up shooting it. It almost looked like just a poke check, but...
Well, like you said, he's good with the puck.
Yeah.
He just needs... I feel like it's one of those things where, I could just be blowing smoke here, but maybe he knows how much, like... Kessel was to this organization. Maybe he thinks in his own head, I have a lot of big shoes to fill. So maybe he's like scared to be too selfish with it.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that. The fact that dude, as soon as he got traded here, there were the people that just disliked him regardless. Like, he was never going to be given a chance by some people.
Well, I mean, I think Brandon Tannen, people don't like him because of his... Like, I talk to Beefy about it all the time. People... I don't think you can't hold that kind of shit again. I agree with you.
You can't hold that against the player.
He didn't trade himself here, and Brandon Tanev didn't give himself that contract.
Yeah, and that's why it makes me kind of sad.
It's the same thing with Daniel Jones in the NFL. He didn't draft himself at 6 overall.
Yeah.
So you can't hold it against him.
I know that. Like, does he have a nickname? Galchenyuk?
Gouch.
Yeah.
Well, I know that he likes being here because he was tweeted about it right away. This is where he got drafted, not actually for the Penguins, but in Pittsburgh. But I don't know. That's, to me, maybe because I'm empathetic. I think that he's in his own head at this point. I think he thinks, look at what I have to fill. Maybe I think he's being too selfless with the puck. Because I don't know.
Well, it could also have to do with you hear a lot of times where you'll have players, even if they're good players, they're playing on a line with a certain player, and they want to default to that player. And he's playing on a line with Malkin.
Well, I was about to say, I think we're going to see that change, at least to start tonight's game. The Malkin, McCann, Russ line scored every goal in that game, and I think they're going to stick together at least to start this game. Sullivan shuffles the lines up. I think Galchenyuk, he finished that game with Crosby and Gensel. I think he might.
look
but
pretty
it's gonna be
good.
like, what is Simone? Because Simone has been great there, for the most part. Last game they needed to shake things up, but I want to see when the lineup comes out. I mean, otherwise, if Simone's there, I don't think you can break up the Malkin, Rust, McCann line at least to start this game. So would Galchenyuk play with Bukestad and
Cahoon?
Yeah.
I
That's a weird line.
I saw people saying like they're gonna switch Simone and Galchenyuk, have him play with Sid and Gensel for a little bit.
So then Simone with Bukestad and Cahoon.
Here, you want some confidence? Play with Sidney Crosby.
Yeah, that's maybe that's all. Honestly, maybe that's all he needs. Maybe he just needs to score, a goal or two, and then get his confidence up a little bit. Because that's the thing. I feel like a lot of hockey, specifically, it's like one of the couple of sports where it's so noticeable. I think that confidence is a huge thing because you have to be confident that you're going to score the puck.
Yeah, I mean, guys are so straight. Okay, so here was their lines from their only skate that they've done since that game. Galchenyuk, Crosby, Gensel, McCann, Malkin, Ross, Cahoon, Bukestad, Simone, Czar, Bluter, Tanev. So,
I like those lines a lot. I think that third line's kind of scrappy, but I like it.
Cahoon, Bukestad, Simone. Yeah,
Wait, where's Tanev at?
Tanev's played with Bluter and Zach. That hasn't changed, really. That's been a pretty consistent line, and they're very good at what they do. Obviously, they're not scoring a ton of goals.
Yeah.
If you're looking for Tanev to score goals, I mean, yeah, you're probably going to hate him even more on that such a deal.
Don't look for that.
Yeah. And then the defensive pairings, Dumoulin, Marino, Pedersen, Schultz, Johnson, Ricola, nothing changed there from last night, not last night, 2 nights ago.
It's Ricola's birthday.
Yeah, 26 years old.
Wow.
But Juuso Ricola has also had a very nice game, their last game. Didn't score on it, but that shot pass that he had to Crosby. And then he had the Subway sandwich of the game. No, we're not sponsored by Subway, but Fingers are. So they had to mention that. Yeah, I want him to experience any growing pains that he might have in the lineup. I think that I would hate
And
to
you're
see
going to have
him-
him with Jack Johnson.
Yeah. Doing 2 lefties on a defensive pairing and for it to be those two together. Yeah, I don't know. But I don't mind these lines. I'm definitely an advocate for Simone playing with Crosby and Gensel, as we all know. But if this is what it takes
Your best friend.
to maybe get Galchenyuk to put one in the net. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say Galchenyuk gets his first tonight.
Dude, I'm so sick of coming into work and my boss telling me how bad Simone sucks.
So you said you watch one player each shift.
Yes.
When did you start watching Simone and realizing what we're saying was true?
After last year, whatever you guys said that.
The first game after we said that.
After we were assholes?
Well, no, honestly, because it was like you said it. I was like, okay, So the next game, I watched him a lot actually. The next game, and I was like, wow, he's very good with what he does with the puck. And then I started watching more and more and more of him when I watched the games. I was like, wow, he's like, I'm an idiot. And that's why I texted you both. And I said like I was wrong about Simone. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
Your best friend, Dominic Simone.
Yeah. The thing is, he does. I understand that he's not.
Jesus Christ, I didn't expect that.
He's not a goal scorer. I think that his the most goals we'll see him score is 10 in a season. But I think that what a lot of people just pretty much throw out the window is the fact that, I pretty much said this word for word in a text, that it's a process to score goals in the NHL. And he's very good at the process of scoring the goals, just not being the one to finish them. So only one guy's going to put the puck in the net ultimately, but it takes multiple guys for the most part. You see great individual efforts now and then, but for the most part, it takes multiple guys to put that process together to score goals.
Well, I don't get why people think okay, they want Gensel to score 50, they want Sid to score 40. Are they expecting
everyone's going to be a breakaway from our own end?
Honestly, do they think that no one assists on goals?
Yeah.
Because that's what a casual, hockey fan is. And they just want it. They think someone's good because of how many goals they score.
Murray makes the save. Gensel picks it up and goes the entire way down the ice himself.
Murray lets up a goal that Fleury would have stopped.
Murray gives up a goal, glove hand.
That Fleury should have stopped, and then Dominic
on
Simone.
the face-off, Sid wins it through the other guy's legs and goes down and scores himself.
That's what Yinzers want to happen.
He holds down L1 and wins the face-off.
I think that we also just watched in the Pens' most recent game before this, probably their most impressive win of the season. I mean, they've obviously put up 6-7 goals in games this year, but the opponent, the Islanders, riding a 10-game win streak and being down 3-0 in that game. The Islanders are a team. It's hard to come back if they score the first goal, let alone the first 3. And they scored all of our goals, other than the one in overtime, in the third period. 18 minutes left. We're still down 3-0. Finally, McCann breaks the ice for the Penguins, and from there, the Penguins just dominated the game. The Penguins, to me, were the better team in that game. They just weren't scoring. I mean, the Islanders only had like 18 shots through 2 periods.
I remember saying, I was like, I'm so sick of the Penguins out-shooting opponents and losing games.
They had
Like
going into
the
that
Edmonton
third
game.
Yep.
Oh my god.
going into that third period, they had the worst stretch of luck that we've seen, at least for this year's Penguin team, and it happened for like 8 straight periods.
Yep. Brian Rust is the best player of all time.
Man, he's having the same.
It's hard to argue.
He's having the same stretch right now that he did last year, like right before he got hurt. Because he had a stretch last year where he had like 8 points in 5 games or something like
Is he
that.
going to get hurt again?
No.
No, but he did have a hat trick against Chicago last year, and they're playing Chicago tonight.
I really so I was talking about this to Steph when I was over at his house for the game. It sucks because I don't want to see Brian Rust leave Pittsburgh, but because of what Jack Johnson they need to trade him, they're gonna have to package him. It's like Humlick and Sherry, and I feel like it's either gonna be him or Bukestad being packaged.
Yeah, I don't want to see either one traded. The thing is, I want to keep the forward group the way that it is, but how can you do that and without upgrading your defense? Like, it's going to have to be one of those guys to go if you're talking about replacing Jack Johnson.
Dude, that trade, did you see the fake one on Twitter today?
Yeah.
My heart sunk. I thought it was real. Because I didn't see the Pergwins. I was like, whoa, it's
The
happening.
Pergwins would be a
was
pretty
the
good team. Johnson and Bukestad to Minnesota for Kevin Fiala and Eriksson Ek.
You should make the title of this one, Go Pergwins.
Is it EK or Ek?
Ek.
Okay.
So I said this too. I was talking about this at work. I said, like, this year, no game I've ever watched the Penguins where I'm like, wow, this team sucks. Like,
Yeah.
this team's like, and because that's like last year they had a couple games where like this team's just not playing well.
Yeah, I mean, it took Crosby and Gensel having a ridiculous stretch for them to make the playoffs. So
Yeah, this year I really like the way they're playing this year. They might not be winning, obviously every game they'd be undefeated, but
I think my only complaint's the power play, and I was fully expecting it without
Yeah.
Kessel.
Sullivan said after the Edmonton game, after the Boston game, he really likes the way they're playing. They just weren't winning the game.
Yeah,
And Kessel's not even having a good year there.
I mean,
I didn't expect much, but I'm like 3 goals through how many games now, and he doesn't really have a lot of points either. I think he might have like 15.
yeah, I wasn't expecting the numbers to be that great, especially yet. I think that he's just like a building block for them. He gets people in the arena, which they were looking for. Obviously, their season ticket sales went up by like 500% when they got him. So
Did Donnie get him?
no,
Hi, Donnie.
but the power play is the only thing, and it's like if they don't win the initial face-off for the power play, I'm expecting them to not even be able to set up anything in the offensive zone.
Yeah.
Because their entries are terrible. They still haven't figured it out. Their entries have been completely based on Kessel carrying the puck since he got here, and now he's not here, and I don't know what the plan is now, but it's not working.
So what
The
is
second unit looks better. They actually maintain more offensive zone time, even though they're on the ice less than the first unit.
So I know it's Sid, obviously, then Gensel and Gino, and then I know Schultz is
Schultz
back
and
there.
Letang had been.
Yeah.
I think that they used a little bit of Pedersen, and I think Dumoulin was out there a little bit with the first unit. But even when healthy, Gensel wasn't always on that first unit because they had Hornquist as the net front presence. And we were trying to talk about that on the last episode. Like, we've never really seen a team do it. But would you maybe, like, switch up who's on that first power play unit based off the matchup? Like, if you felt like you needed that net front presence there, would they go with Hornquist on the first unit? Or, skill, you go with Gensel on the first unit. But right now, with the injury still attacking Hornquist, it kind of is a moot point.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this is going to sound, this is just my own thought process, but if you're facing a slower team, throw Brandon Tanev in there somewhere, too. I mean, he's
enough skill to play with a power play unit. I don't know about. I mean,
I'm not saying
probably
like consistently, but
yeah.
if it's like a slower team, like might as well. I mean, if the power play is not working, try everything.
They gave up another shorthanded goal in that game.
That was
and
rough.
it's like Yeah, this team is just the last 2 years. The shorthanded goals are ridiculous. Like, not only are they not breaking even on the power play, they're giving up goals.
Yeah.
That's why they went. I felt like with the two defender approach, and then you lost obviously Letang, so you really couldn't do it. But I really don't know what the answer is there.
Something needs to give with Justin Schultz, man. He just
I mean, we were talking about how good the team's been. He's probably one of the not so bright spots so far this season.
That first goal, he was looking like, obviously, I don't know if you listen to it, you can't, but like on the podcast, he was looking like I am to you, and the guy was behind him. Like, you're a defenseman, you need to know.
And it's like right at the beginning of the game.
It's tough because he was like a gem here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he'll always have like the OT winner in the playoffs. Like, he's Justin Schultz. I mean, you know, he's the guy walking down the street chugging a beer.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, you know,
that's why he's a free agent after the season. I'm not
high
on board with the idea of bringing him back because he's a right-handed shot. I still think he's going to get a decent amount of money. I really don't want to be the team to pay that.
Yeah.
He just hasn't been the same player since his injuries, and that's understandable. What happens with a lot of guys, but
let another team do it.
Yeah, I'm not shelling out. I don't know. What do you think? Like $6 million?
He is 5.5 now.
Yeah,
and he's a righty too, like you said. Like,
I don't think he's deserving of a raise, but I think he could get like a little bit marginal. Yeah, I think he might get like a marginal raise.
If he stayed here, he would get less.
Yeah. But I think the idea behind him signing with that 3-year deal was him thinking, I'm going to be able to cash in again. It just hasn't gone the right way for him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I miss 2017 Justin Schultz.
Me too,
Whenever
man.
Letang was out, he
had 51 points that year.
Yeah, he was an all-star.
I mean,
he wasn't an actual all-star, but like...
As Jeff mentioned on the show, it was still like he wasn't playing like Chris Letang minutes. Like he wasn't playing, shorthanded all the time. The minutes were still somewhat sheltered. He wasn't filling Letang's role to the fullest. He wasn't playing 25 minutes a night like Letang does. But, yeah, 51 points, obviously quarterbacking the power play. That's another reason that I think that people are so, like, the people that don't like Chris Letang, because of the season that Schultz had while he wasn't here, thinking Justin Schultz can just replace him, when on the surface it might have looked like that, but he still wasn't Chris Letang.
No, and the thing is, too, Chris Letang is a rare guy where he's just as good offensively as he is defensively. As a defenseman in the NHL, it's hard to find.
He probably could play wing. I mean, you saw the way that like Brent Burns early in his career jumped back and forth.
Yeah,
I think Letang probably could have done that as well.
I'm so sick.
Buffalo was originally a forward.
I'm so sick of people just saying, I don't care if you can say Letang's not elite. You guys had the debate before. But I'm so sick of him people saying he's not good.
It depends on, for me, it depends on how many people you want to put in the elite category. Like, look at what, I understand that he's had some stretches, but do people can still consider, like, Erik Karlsson elite? Because, like, lately, the last season and a half, 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Since his injury.
I think elite you can have 5 people at one position. Like you can have 5 elite quarterbacks, you can have 5 elite centers. I mean, that's a different.
Okay, but the thing with that is, so you can have. You're saying 5 centers, 5 defensemen, right? So the only issue that I take with that is it 5 centers and 5 left defensemen and 5 right defensemen? Because they're 2 different things. So, or is it 5 defensemen all grouped together?
I would have grouped them together. I know it's tough because left and right, but the skill set is still a skill set.
It's kind of like. Would you consider... if you're saying elite players in the NHL, you're putting Kucherov in there, but he's not a center.
That's why I said, you can have one, per position. Yeah. Like, you can have 5 wingers, 5...
Well, that's the thing. I don't think there's 5... What was Kucherov, right wing or left wing?
Left wing.
That's why I would maybe just group all
it's like,
wingers.
I don't know if there's 5 what I would consider elite at each position.
I feel like maybe for NHL, just put, wingers... centers and defensemen, not split up between right and left. Because if you do right and left, then you have to go into who are they paired with? You can't do all that.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Your friend, all right? You crack it.
That's about it.
It's been like that.
That's about it for the NHL.
I got it.
But yeah, we're all pretty I'll say I'm happy with where the Pens are right now, all things considered, with the way that the health's gone. Not having Malkin for the period they did, which is actually less time than I thought it'd be. But
They'd be
yeah, I
better,
don't know, I'm happy
they'd be
with
better
where
with
they're at.
Fleury.
I'm definitely happy with the forward group. If they can figure out a way, and I'm not gonna. I don't want to keep harping on like the Jack Johnson thing. I think that they're capable of winning without him, at least for the time being. If it becomes too big of a problem, I'll probably start harping for Ruedel to play on the right side with Rico on the third pairing.
I'm a big Ruedel guy.
I like him a lot too.
I want him. I wish he was starting every game here.
Remember when Herb thought Sullivan might be fired before Christmas?
Yeah, he said that like this year, right?
Yeah,
little over a month ago.
Yeah. I don't know about that one, Chief.
Suck it, Herb.
All right, moving to the NFL. Just some injuries to touch on. Jacoby Brissett is out. Patrick Mahomes is back after missing just 2 games with a broken kneecap, which is insane.
Is he an actual superhero?
Yes.
Wait, was it
Just
broken?
It was broken.
Dislocated.
It was a broken kneecap.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was broken.
Huh. That's nuts.
Mr. Deeds, you're a nurse?
Either way, dislocated or broken, it's pretty insane he only missed 2 games.
Yeah, well, I'm playing against him in fantasy, so I hope he sucks.
I'm facing you this week, Smith.
Yeah, I saw that. I already touched on the Luke Falk injury grievance with the Jets. AJ Green is still out. Looked like he was going to come back, but apparently suffered a setback. So, yeah, I put him back on my IR.
Just
which he's probably
ask
not
for
gonna
a
get to play
trade,
game,
bud.
but, I mean, he can't now. He's a free
I know,
agent.
but like,
Yeah.
oh, is he a free agent?
Yeah. But he wants to sign a long-term deal there.
Why?
I don't know. And they're going through they're going through a rebuild. Like, I don't know if they planned on it being a rebuild this year because they kept Andy Dalton and obviously AJ Green, and they kind of really didn't act like they were going into a rebuild, even though they had the 11th overall pick and everything. But they now are sitting Andy Dalton. They're going with a rookie quarterback. AJ Green's a free agent. They're going to trade Dalton, I assume. Yeah, they're about to go through a rebuild. I don't know why AJ Green would want to be a part of that.
Like, he's way... Well, I mean, who said it last week on your show where you said like, it was like Larry Fitz? Like...
I don't know.
But to me, it's like Larry Fitz should have got out of there a long time ago.
At least Larry Fitz got to a Super Bowl. But
yeah, like AJ Green is never... He's
like 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Or 10 years ago.
He's just so talented, and he's... I don't understand. He needs to realize that he'd be so much better somewhere else.
What is it with Cincinnati athletes?
Well, I think he's waiting.
Joey Votto?
Yeah.
He's waiting for whenever they draft Trevor Lawrence next year.
Christ.
But, I mean,
Dude.
as you mentioned, yeah, he's still like a good player and everything, but he's definitely on the downside of his career.
Oh, no.
Like, he's got to win now.
Yeah. Sorry, I feel bad. We keep looking
Yeah, I
back.
know. Yeah, Penn State, Minnesota is going on right now. And Penn State, I feel like, how did they even get the ball back? Because they just scored to go down by 5. And
3 and out by Minnesota.
sheesh.
And my friend Quentin texted me and said, I hate coaches who play conservative with a lead, and Minnesota's going to lose the game. And I agree. If you have a lead, why do you play so conservatively? If you've been playing well,
I mean, I didn't
all
watch
game,
what they did in the 3 and out, so would they just run it 3 times and punt?
Pretty much, yeah.
Trent Williams probably done with the Redskins. They put him on the NFI list. That's
What?
another situation that's just...
I wanted to tweet this, and I don't know why I didn't. It is a polar opposite position than the Steelers do with Shazier. Like, Shazier obviously can't play. Maybe never again.
Mm-hmm.
But they still put him on the payroll so basically they can help pay for his medical bills.
Mm-hmm.
The Redskins, the polar opposite. Just you have cancer that we didn't say you had.
Mm-hmm. And it's that's like the
It's
best.
so stupid, man. I don't get it.
And that's one of the best players that they've ever had in that organization. 7 straight Pro Bowls, multi-time All-Pro. Like, it just doesn't make any sense that they're like. Imagine how they treat the other 52 guys.
Yeah. I just don't. I don't get how you can be so heartless as an organization. I know that that's the thing. Technically, you don't owe, like the Steelers don't owe Shazier anything. They're just nice and decent humans.
Mm-hmm.
But the Redskins are just saying, "Fuck that. You have cancer? Well, sorry." It's so dumb.
Yeah. And it's just
Maybe they're
You've
still
had-
mad because of Albert Hainsworth.
you've had such a good relationship for so long. Well, I mean, Trent Williams said it hasn't been that, but like it should have been. Like I said, he's one of the best players in the franchise history.
Yep.
Like, and you're not even doing anything to like mend that. And that's a guy that you would want to be able to like retire his number and come back and like still be part of that organization well beyond his playing days. And they're just pretty much throwing the relationship out the window.
It's just crazy, man. And like I know it's kind of hard to compare him and Shazier because Shazier is back in cancer, but still, I couldn't figure out a way to tweet it. That's why I didn't. But to me, it's just insane.
Kid just said the Redskins suck as an organization.
They do suck as an organization.
And then Steelers related, James Conner.
About NCAA.
James Conner's rolled out for Sunday. They play again on Thursday, so gonna be interesting to see how that goes. Jalen Samuels is fine. More of the pass catching back, set a record having 13 receptions in their last game against the Colts.
You ready to suit up?
I'm not. Yeah, they're going into this game. Edmonds was able to practice, and he'll be out there Sunday as well. So you have Samuels, Edmonds, and Tony James Brooks. Or is it James Tony Brooks?
Tony James Brooks.
Tony James Brooks.
What did he do
names,
for people to like go nuts last week? Because I forget who, someone was like, let's go, like Brooks. I'm like, what? He didn't really do much.
Was it a family member?
Oh, no, it was someone on my timeline.
Interesting. I don't know. But anyway,
An Oregon
like,
fan?
I want him.
I don't know.
I want him to be involved in like the kick return game. He runs a 4.45 40. So, and we're not getting anything from
right?
Switzer.
Pretty much all I have to say is he was an Oregon running back.
Yeah.
That's how fast he is.
Yeah. How fast was he? He played college football at Oregon. But so they're gonna have the same running backs that they did against the Colts. Which I mean, if Edmonds hadn't played, it would have been. You would have had him and Darren Hall probably. If you even had 3 running backs. Yeah, Pitt running back. Who was on the practice squad. It's funny for people listening to just all of a sudden start hearing clapping.
Darren Hall.
Minnesota just picked off Penn State.
We're not clapping about Darren Hall going to Pitt, although that is great. Minnesota looks like they're going to beat Penn State, which is
Joe
awesome.
knew.
Yeah.
You gotta love it.
But I'm not like necessarily worried about the running back situation. It's just I'm worried about James Conner going forward. This isn't obviously his first injury. He's missed time in every season that he's had. We don't know if he's going to be able to play. Like I said, they have a short week going into Thursday night against Cleveland after this game. So
I hate Thursday night games, by the way.
it's so stupid. I don't know anybody that likes them. I don't know why they're a thing. They're not going to be once the CBA is renegotiated.
Money. That's literally why, because they get money from TV.
I like money.
Yeah, I mean, why is it going to be Thursday night? I understand you don't want to like compete with college football on Saturday. What about? I mean, I know college football's on Friday too, but a little bit.
Well, then you're ruining high school football.
One day.
Oh man.
Do they really care about that though? Like,
Well, I mean,
But at the
you
same
got to think about
token,
how many
though-
people won't watch because they're at a high school game.
So if you
Because that's
play
not.
on,
Because sorry, but the difference is like, for college games on Friday, it's not a big deal because it's only like really the fan bases of those teams. But like high school football, that's a national thing. So
if you
Yeah.
play on Monday, would you ever play on Thursday?
no,
or,
no,
okay.
they're not allowed to do that.
Okay, I didn't.
that'd be hilarious though. Hey, screw you. Hey, Pats. Screw you.
Yeah, they should every other week the Pats should play on Monday and Thursday.
Every other week, they probably still win like 12 games.
Yeah, because their division's so tough.
I don't think that the Players Association should go for it next time. I mean, we're talking about obviously brings in more money. I just don't see a way that they agree to it again. With
When
how many
did it
people
start?
have that outspoken. Consistently,
It was I thought it was 2-3 years ago.
because it's
No.
longer than that.
Because I remember I went to.
Yeah, Steelers played the Browns like 2010 or 11 or something on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
And I remember
I wish I was
Carson
there.
Palmer was a Raider at one point that I was watching on a Thursday night game. Like, it's been a while.
Wait, he was a Raider?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
That's where he went before Arizona.
Before he reignited his career.
How do I not
Well,
remember
man.
that? Wow.
But anyway, so you're looking at the Steelers running back situation. Now, I'm confident in Jalen Samuels. I think that the offense operates a little bit differently with him. Not necessarily
Just please
a
no
bad
Wildcat.
thing. You know, I don't think they can run the Wildcat unless you have both Samuels and Connor. But I think the defense is going to play well. Obviously, it's supposed to be pretty bad weather. The Rams' offensive line's been pretty bad. Jared Goff's been pretty up and down. I think it's going to be a sloppy football game. I think it's going to be a low-scoring football game.
This is the most confident I've been in the Steelers defense in quite some time.
It's crazy. Yeah, they're number 5 in the NFL right now, and you look at
the first time I was on the show, I said they were top 5. They were like 16.
Yeah, everything's coming together for them. It just sucks that it could only last like the rest of the season because you don't know what's going to happen with Bud Dupree. They underutilized Javon Hargrave anyway, so I don't think that
Stop it.
The loss of him will impact the defense that much. I mean, I could be wrong saying that, but going forward, if they're able to re-sign Bud in the offseason, then I think that the defense is going to just continue to get better together. Like Devin Bush, you expect to take a second-year leap.
Is Mark
Another
Barron
year
only here for one?
They can release him and save like $7 million.
They should.
So yeah.
Not a big fan.
I mean, that's probably how they're going to save money. I would think is Barron and Chicolo getting released this offseason.
Damn.
Do you sign? Do you sign Bud knowing that you're going to have to sign Watt and Juju and Minka eventually?
Minka's been on for a while, though, right?
I mean, so you'd have Minka for 3 more years, including the 5th-year option after this year.
Extend him out.
You can give Watt the 5th. You can pick up his 5th-year option as well. And being that he was drafted number 28, somewhere in the 20s, or was he
20s.
30? He was 30 because that was the year that we lost after we lost in the NFC Championship to the Patriots.
Yeah,
we drafted him. So it's not going to be as high. Obviously, if he were a top 10 pick, Minka's 5th-year option at the 11th overall also just missed being in the top 10, and there's a difference there as well. I mean, it depends on what he wants. I wouldn't pay him as
he's already making what 9.2 this year.
Yeah.
Minka?
No.
Oh.
We're talking about extending Bud. I wouldn't pay him as a top pass rusher. The problem with that is with how much of a premium that position is, a team very well could.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw people talk about 16 to 18 million per season. So.
Wow.
I'm gonna be honest. I would probably give him. And he's not going to accept hearing this, but I would want him to prove it another year.
He hears this.
Not be. No, I'm saying.
I hear you.
It's not like the Steelers can sit down with him and be like, "We only saw 1 year of great production, so would you accept a shorter term deal and try to hit free agency again?" And that's what I'd probably be looking to do personally.
Yeah.
Is a 3-year, $30 million deal.
That makes sense.
But for him, he's probably trying to get.
He's probably cash in now, yeah.
Yeah, 5 years and, like I said, maybe $15 million a year. Mm-hmm. Which the Steelers, they can't do it.
Remember when he killed Matt Moore?
Yeah, that was before he was good. But I mean, that's the thing is the flashes have been there, the signs of him being a very good player have been there. He's a first round pick, so obviously he had high hopes at the beginning. He had never really won with power. It was always about speed. This year, he's starting to put it all together. I'm not buying into the fact that it's just he's producing because it's a contract year. I mean, I think that there's a little bit more motivation there because of that. But you don't just randomly get so much better with hand usage. His swim move has improved. Everything about his play has improved. That's not just going to happen because you're playing for a contract.
Is Hargrave playing for one too?
He's a free agent, yeah.
Now let me ask you a question. Out of because a couple years ago we got consecutively Watt, Juju, Connor.
Yeah.
Is Connor the most expendable out of those 3, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even going to say just because of the position he plays. The position he plays makes him the most expendable. But even if you're looking at the fact that Watt plays the most important position out of them in football, I'll say the most important positions are obviously quarterback, pass rush, someone to protect the pass rush, so your left tackle, and then from there I think it's receiver, corner.
Yeah.
I mean, running back is literally at the bottom of the list for me, other than special team kickers, punters. Just because you've seen teams be able to find guys that are really good at one thing, and have a multitude of guys to do that. Look at Jalen Samuels. I would feel confident if Jalen Samuels was the top running back on this roster without James Conner here. James Conner is better than I mean, I know that's a debate now for some reason. James Conner is better overall running back than Jalen Samuels, but I'm not going to pay James Conner a huge contract when I have Jalen Samuels for minimum money for a couple more years. If I ran a football team, running backs would hate me because they would never get paid. I would just find another one after.
Yeah, I mean, Samuels also is really dangerous in the pass too.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he can obviously catch you at, 14, 13 last year.
I mean, so out of those three, it's literally the round that they were drafted in for me. Watt, Juju, Connor, in terms of expendable. Even their other third-round pick, Cameron Sutton, I would probably give him more money than James Conner.
Dude, I'm so sick of hearing people, Mark Madden fans, say that, oh, just wait, Juju's going to be another AB Jr., like he's going to... You don't freaking know that. Like, what are you basing that off of? When did AB ever say after a win, yeah, I mean, like, I'm hungry, but we won, so that's all that matters? When did we ever see AB jumping up and down because someone got their first NFL touchdown? You didn't really see that. Like, AB was an animal, but he was also always a me guy.
I just... The parallels to me stop with, like, being... marketing themselves. That's literally the only similarity I see between the two.
Yeah, and like someone said, oh, Juju's a team guy when the cameras are on him. I'm like, that's not true. He didn't know that he was on camera when Deontay Johnson scored his first touchdown. And that was a genuine
They
reaction.
all hang out together like when they're not playing football.
Dude, I'm just so sick of it. I'm so sick of the narrative. It's like Juju has done nothing for anyone to... What?
Ohio State scored 72 points.
That's it?
They're winning 72. I mean, that's it.
But like, I'm just so sick of hearing it.
Are they covering the spread?
It's 72-14. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just had to say that because like I hear it all day at work. I hear it from people I hang out with. I'm just so sick of hearing about it.
Yeah, like I said, I mean,
just call your boss racist.
AB was pretty good.
He's actually leaving on Friday, so. Oh.
Hey.
AB was good at marketing himself. Juju's one of the best in the business at marketing himself.
Yeah.
Which I don't have a problem. These guys understand that there's more than football. Like, just because guys in the past didn't have the platform to do that doesn't mean that Juju's any, worse of a person, any worse of a teammate because he chooses to use his social media platform to do other things for himself than play football.
Dude, Mark Madden literally tweeted, Juju downloaded the TikTok. Are you freaking... He downloaded an app. I understand that you can't compare because Tom Brady's the GOAT, but he posts on Twitter a lot now.
Yeah.
And you don't say shit to him.
Like, he puts up a video say they play Sunday, then on Monday. If they played on Monday, then Tuesday. It just says a W with a video of him,
I want him to retire so bad so I can like him.
Yeah.
Dude, I love Tom Brady. Like, I hate saying that. I hate that coming out of my mouth. But when it comes to everything besides him being the Patriots quarterback, I love Tom Brady.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Also, for those who don't know, I mentioned my boss again. My boss is on record saying he hates Juju because he needs to focus on football and hang on to the ball. He hates Dominic Simone because he doesn't bring it into the pens. He also doesn't think Hines Ward was a number one receiver. So
I never understand the notion, like, just because Juju is on social media, what makes you does this notion that he is not a hard worker come from?
I don't know, man. It's because Mark Madden tells his fans to think that. Remember the Steelers game? The last week of the Steelers game, this guy behind us, they announced 72 was an eligible receiver, and the place went nuts. This guy behind us goes,
"Focus on winning."
Yeah, I remember we were a winning town. Focus on winning. And Smitty goes, "Wow, someone very miserable sitting behind us." It's that's exactly what Mark Madden tells his fans to think. He tells his fans, he brainwashes people. He's very good at hockey. I can't not take that away from him. But when it comes to football, he is the hard-headed boomer, like that kind of thing, where he's like, you can't have a life outside of football. You need to only focus on that, and that's it. That's not how the world we live in.
Like, if you're gonna tell me that if social media wasn't a thing, or was a thing in the 70s, you're gonna tell me that none of those wide
Terry
receivers would be on
Bradshaw
it?
would have been tearing it up.
I mean, there's guys that had personalities back then. It's just like there wasn't the media and, as you mentioned, social media to like blow these things up and put them out there for like the only people that would know that they were going on were really like the teammates or like fans who happened to see them. Like some of the way that those guys dressed was insane.
Well, it's kind of like I mean, this is unrelated to the Steelers, but what's his name? Jim McMahon went to BYU.
Yeah.
But Jim McMahon could not go to BYU today But
Probably
he
should have
could,
even gone back then.
but he could in the late 70s and early 80s because like there wasn't a microscope on him and he could do what he wanted. Like for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, BYU's an honor code. Like you're not allowed to drink at BYU.
So many videos would have
Drink anything?
been posted of him.
Jim McMahon would, but I mean there's pictures of him with like beer in his hand. But like, but at the same time it's just the era that he grew up in. It's different. That wouldn't happen today, but back then it didn't matter.
Yeah, I really, when they're playing football, I'm rooting for them playing football. Whenever they're not playing football,
Do whatever.
I really don't care what they do.
They're not robots.
Like, we go to work. Does that mean that we don't work hard because we're on social media after?
I'm on social media during.
That's the
work.
thing. So many people, like, and I get it. You're not the professional athlete, but the people that are saying like stay off social media, you're the ones saying it on social media.
Isn't that ironic? Say, Juju, stop tweeting. Tweets from
Send tweet. All right, well, that pretty much wraps up everything. Thanks to Sarge for coming back on. We really didn't know it was going to happen.
surprise.
Up until, like, when we left Keith's Barbershop, so...
Yeah, I was like, hey, do you care if I can hang out during your show? I literally said, I was like, I don't want to be on it. Then you came up, you're like, hey, are you coming on the show? So.
Well, you
But no,
were
I
here.
mean, it's like...
It's like, why sit there and just like listen to Smitty and
I wasn't going
talk?
to say that. Like, it's just, I feel like, well, we're so used to having 3 people as well. So that obviously helps in a way too. But even so, it's like 3 people is, I feel like, the perfect amount for a podcast. Anymore, it's too many. But if it's just 2 people, especially if it was just him and I, because we tend to agree so much, it would be like...
Smitty, what do you think? Yep, me too.
Yep. Cool. You're right.
But anyway, Keith's Barbershop, that's where we came from. Old-fashioned barbershop located at 180 Brighton Avenue in Rochester, PA. Open 10 to 7 Tuesday through Friday and Saturday 9 to 4. If you head there on Tuesday and you are military personnel, a first responder, or a nurse, you get $5 off your haircut. $5 off your haircut. That's also a thing if you donate to Teach Toy Drive, which they're doing right now until December 20th. Donations of toys, it can be monetary. We saw some people just giving money, which is awesome too, because... You know, at times that could be, you don't know what kids want necessarily.
Yeah.
Like, you give them money, they can buy whatever they want. So
Think about it. If you buy a $5 toy, you get $5 off your haircut. Evens out.
yeah, and so you get $5 off your haircut when you donate. So head to Keeks and do that. Once again, 180 Brighton Avenue in Rochester. Rocking around the 412 year 2. Been going on for a while now, but still going on. The pinned tweet on our Twitter will take you right to the GoFundMe to donate, or you can get in touch with just one of us personally, and we will tell you how to do so. Even checks. I had somebody write me a check, so whatever it might be. But anyway, get involved with that. If you can't donate, just share it. You know, you never know whose eyes you're putting on that. We had a case yesterday where literally just, a person retweeting our tweet led somebody else to see it and they donated. So that's, you get more eyes on it, the more people are going to donate. So if you can't donate, we understand, especially because, your family might be in a position like we're talking about here. So you can't donate because you're worrying about how are you going to make Christmas happen for yourselves. At least share it and get more eyes on it. We are once again around the 412 as part of the Pod Hub Network. You can find us and all the other shows at podhubnetwork.com. Give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter. Like us on Facebook. We don't have a Snapchat. I should make a Snapchat, huh?
Yeah.
You guys want to see more Smitty food reviews, let me know.
Yeah, what the heck was that?
It was awesome. He sat down and he just put out his phone.
Yeah, I'm going to put the video of this on YouTube so you can watch it on there. Give us a like, subscribe, comment on there. If you're listening on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, whatever it might be, head on over to twitch.tv/around412. Hit the follow. Turn on the notifications so you know when we go live. If you want to subscribe too, that's great. We are an affiliate, so you can subscribe to us and give us money each month, which is awesome. As you can see with Rocking Around the 412, the money that we get, the very little that we do get, if anything,
it goes
right back into it. So, if you want to support the show,
any money
the
from
stream,
shirts we haven't seen because those money, the money from shirts has gone to
the money from the shirts has gone right back into buying other people's shirts.
Yeah,
Really?
pretty much.
Our biggest, I'm not really, whatever happens, obviously, financially happens. The biggest thing is just, associating our name with good things. That's what I want to do.
That hoodie's amazing, brother. I'm not just saying, man. I wear that thing all the time.
Yeah, the hoodies that we didn't design those or anything. That was just a new style that I put on Spreadshirt. Those are all. It's like a 2-tone color block hoodie. So
Don't have 3X.
Smitty basically bet me $500 I was gonna love it.
yeah, That's how confident I was. But anyway, if you want to buy some merchandise, you can go to Spreadshirt or Designs by Humans. We have stuff on both of those websites. Once again, those links are right on our Twitter. Once again, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you guys, hopefully with Herb. I'm not sure what's going on with him medically now, but shout out to Herb. Hope he gets better quickly.
Feel better, bud.
And we'll talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye.